us, as ever, here on the set. Dominique Strauss-Kahn, what a surprise. He's still leading all the French newspapers, really, isn't he?
Yes, yesterday, as you might remember, they seemed to have mostly concluded that charges against him were going to be dropped imminently. Now, of course, they're kind of rowing back frantically as the prosecutors in New York have said they will not be dropping those charges. If we just take a look at what should be a slightly censored version of François, they've put a front page photo of the woman who's accused Dominique Strauss-Kahn in New York on their front page, which we've blurred out there, as you can see, because we don't normally in the English-speaking word identify rape victims, but their headline there says, and if she wasn't lying about everything, of course they suggested rather yesterday that she had been lying about everything, but they do kind of need to eat their words a little bit today and go back and point out that there is indeed forensic evidence proving that there was a sexual encounter and that she was bruised, and there are other signs that it wasn't particularly consensual, and that her chronology of events has not really changed from one story to another on the important details, and that the electronic room keys and so on back up her evidence. Those are the same points that her lawyer Kenneth Thompson points out in an interview with Le Parisien today. As you can see there, he says, we've got proof against Dominique Strauss-Kahn. He says that in this day and age, in 2011, he shouldn't have to point out to journalists that her family background is not relevant to whether or not she was raped. So whether or not she's in a relationship with a drug trafficker, as has been reported, or whether or not she may have lied on her asylum application when she first came to the States, he points out it's not relevant. He says rather that she's been devastated by this, her reputation has been destroyed, and all that she wants is to see Dominique Strauss-Kahn in court facing a jury.
Incredible to see that image on the front of François. Glad you blurred it out for us. Now, of course, the political ramifications also being covered in the newspapers. Le Figaro talking about the socialists not being able to agree on their policies.
Yes, there are now half a dozen socialist candidates in the party primary election, and Le Figaro, which of course is a right-wing paper who isn't particularly keen to see any of them win, is pointing out today that they can't all agree on their policies. They are meant to have all signed up to a socialist project that they would all agree to fulfil if they were elected, but they're saying they just can't agree. Manuel Valls, who announced his candidacy yesterday, says that a lot of the plans in that official party project are unaffordable, and that they would be lying to French people if they said that would happen. He's talking about plans that they have to create 300,000 jobs for unemployed young people, and the promise that they've made to French people that if the socialists win the election, the retirement age will be reduced back to 60. He says there's no way they can afford that. They also can't agree on nuclear energy, the main candidates. Martine Aubry says that she wants to get rid of it completely, while her rival François Hollande just says that he wants it reduced by 50% by 2025. And on immigration, the socialist policy officially is to allow illegal immigrants who've been living in France for some time a path towards legalisation, whereas Ségolène Royal, another main candidate who of course lost the election in 2007, has been saying today that she doesn't want any illegal immigrants to be allowed to legalise themselves in any way.
She mentioned Ségolène Royal. She's on the front page of Libération. She's given an interview to them.
Yes, it's an exclusive interview they've got on their front page. The headline says, "You'll be surprised," but really the content isn't particularly surprising. She does say that her main policies remain the same as when she stood for election unsuccessfully in 2007. She does say she's learned some things from that failure, saying particularly that at the time she didn't look briefed very often and often seems to be making things up as she went along. She says that she's more prepared for this year's election.
OK, quickly, last two. Figaro, France failed again in its Olympic Games bid.
Yeah, this is the fifth time in 10 years that France has been a candidate to host the Olympic Games and has failed. Le Figaro says why they're doing so badly. It's because French people aren't getting behind the bids properly. There were demonstrations in Annecy from people who were against the bid, whereas in South Korea, the winning bid, it had huge popular support.
And Le Monde. It's never too late to find love, apparently.
No, Meetic, which is France's leading dating site, has its first public share offering today, and Le Monde says it's particularly popular with people in their 60s. There are some very sweet stories of people who've found love again after 55. Apparently they've got 1 million people signed up in that age group, and they've got lots of very happy stories of couples who've found love again.
Excellent. It's not too late for us after all.
Apparently not.
Elena, thank you very much. Elena there with the French newspapers here on France 24.